So we all knew this day was coming, but in a 2-to-1 vote yesterday, the FCC voted to officially gut net neutrality. Now, this would kill the internet as we know it. We'd be looking at a completely different internet where information is stifled, where there are fast lanes and slow lanes, and websites who don't pay a ransom to Comcast and Verizon are punished and may even die off. So this is a very scary situation. And now it is becoming a reality. So CNET explains, on Thursday, the Federal Communications Commission voted 2-to-1 on a proposal to strip out the existing regulations that govern net neutrality, or the concept that all internet traffic must be treated equally. This is an initial vote that opens the issues up for comments. The FCC will entertain public input until August and hold a final vote later this year. But given the Republican majority on the commission, a vote to remove the existing rules is a virtual certainty. Today's vote represents the first significant step toward dismantling regulations that have been in place since 2015, potentially changing the way the internet works. Proponents, Democrats, internal companies, and consumer advocacy groups argue that the rules were necessary to ensure that internet service providers like Verizon and Comcast couldn't play favorites or charge more for faster access, while critics, Republicans, and ISPs said the rules were too onerous and stifle innovation and investment in infrastructure. Public policy group Consumer Union called the vote chilling. Eliminating the open internet order takes away the internet's level playing field and would allow a select few corporations to choose winners and losers, preventing consumers from accessing the content that they want, when they want it, said Jonathan Schwantes, Senior Policy Counsel for Consumers Union. So, we are officially in crisis mode. So the next few months may be the last months that we ever have of a free and open internet, because if this goes through, I can't even imagine how this is going to impact democracy, how this will impact independent media websites, because if you think that the Humanist Report has the resources to pay the ransom that Comcast imposes on us, and that they inevitably will impose on us, we don't. You all know we don't. So this is bad. This is really bad. And I want to reiterate a statement that I said before in the past, but I need everyone to get on board, including Republicans, because if you are conservative, know that this is a nonpartisan issue. Even though leftists scream about this the most, if you like reading the Daily Caller, if you like reading Breitbart, this will impact your access to those websites too, because Verizon, AT&T, Charter, Comcast, they can say, you know what? Breitbart hasn't paid for us to implement a fast lane and make their access faster. So you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to slow down traffic to Breitbart, and nobody will be able to access that website because bandwidth and traffic will come to a crawl. That will effectively kill off Breitbart. So if you honestly think that this won't affect you, you're in for a rude awakening when they actually do vote to kill net neutrality, because you're looking at a completely different internet. Now, it's not over yet, because after voting for these rules, the FCC is required to receive input from the public, as the article states. And thankfully, Democrats have pledged to wage war on the FCC. So Recode explains, nobody believes the Republicans who are saying they want strong net neutrality, or they're going to come up with a better way, said Pallone, the top Democrat on the House committee overseeing the FCC, during an interview with Recode. I'm not interested in this nonsense. It'll be a campaign issue if they repeal it, he added. Our focus now is to say to the FCC, please don't do this. So if Democrats do what's right and they actually make this a big issue, then that will significantly help grassroots activists who are already fighting to stop Ajit Pai's insidious agenda. So according to The Verge, on Sunday, protesters from the Protect Our Internet campaign went around Pai's neighborhood in Arlington, Virginia, and distributed door hangers at nearby homes, prompting people to be aware of their neighbors' efforts to limit internet freedom. The flyers feature a black and white photo of Pai, along with a short description of the chairman's background and how his proposal would roll back open internet rules. And also, activists held a vigil in front of Ajit Pai's house in support of net neutrality. So you can support grassroots activists that are leading the cause by going to websites such as protectourinternet.org. You can also visit gofccyourself.com for updates, as well as thehumanist report.com/hyphen Save the Internet for links to take action. These will all be in the description box. Now is not a time to be silent. Now is not the time for complacency. This is something that will harm everyone, with the exception of the CEOs at Comcast, Verizon, AT&T, and Charter. And you need to know that Ajit Pai is using Orwellian doublespeak to push this because he knows that net neutrality is overwhelmingly popular. So by saying that he's going to bring about a free and open internet, he's lying to you, and he's lying to you at the behest of the likes of Verizon, who he was an attorney for. And they paid him lots of money. And if you think that they're not going to reward him again after he gets out of the FCC for doing this, you're horribly mistaken. So we've got to make our voices heard. We have to. You can stop this, but you have to tweet to Ajit Pai. You have to write them letters, physical and digital. You have to file an official complaint at the FCC's website. You can do this at humansupport.com. Again, on this particular page, Save the Internet, there are no ads. I'm not trying to benefit from it personally, but we all benefit if we can keep the current Title II net neutrality regulations on the books. So this is disgusting. And when I woke up to this news, even though I expected it, I was actually trembling. That's how shaken I am from this news. This is not acceptable at all. Again, this is a nonpartisan issue. This affects conservatives, progressives. It affects every single person who's not a millionaire, who's not wealthy. This isn't hyperbole. Comcast already showed us what life would be like without Title II regulations in 2014 when they tried to kill off Netflix. So if you were watching Netflix and you got that buffering symbol and shows just came to a crawl, well, that was when old rules expired, which prompted the codification of new rules in 2015, which basically solidified net neutrality. It also hurts consumers because now they can offer tiered packages to where, if you want Facebook and social media, you got to pay $5 more. If you want streaming like Hulu and Netflix, you got to pay another $10. I mean, there are so many possibilities that could come to fruition that it's just unimaginable, and I don't even want to think about that. So we have to fight, please. Every single one individual comment helps. You can make a difference. You can make your voice heard, but you actually have to do it. You have to understand the consequences of what's at stake here. You have to understand that we cannot let this come to pass. Please speak out. Contact Ajit Pai. Contact the FCC. File an official complaint. They're now taking our input. We know they're going to ignore it as much as they can, but we can't stop fighting. This is very important.
Support this podcast by joining the independent progressive media revolution today at humanistreport.com.